Hey, what is up you guys, it's Proxy and I hope everyone is doing a-okay. So if you guys aren't already aware, Apex Legends did drop the Season 7 patch notes today. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into these patch notes. So the first thing the patch notes cover are Horizon, Olympus, and the Trident, but because I've already briefly gone over those on this channel, I'm going to go ahead and skip those. If you guys want to go ahead and check those videos out, I'll be sure to leave the links in the description below. Now putting that aside, the first thing I want to talk about from the patch notes is the brand new Olympus Preview LTM, which will allow players to free roam and kind of get a feel for the map before jumping into an actual game. As you can see, all circles are still turned on, and once Circle 4 finishes, all 30 players will be brought back up to the dropship. The game will allow you to run through a total of 3 times before ending the match. This mode is only going to be around for a week though, so I would highly recommend checking it out at least once, as knowing your map will be highly advantageous to you. Next, I briefly want to mention some new changes coming to the Battle Pass this season. Battle Pass progress will now be awarded as stars as opposed to challenge points. The new star meter will have 10 slots, and once you have filled all 10 of those slots, you will be allowed to progress to the next level. There will also be a new challenge tracker UI. Challenges will be categorized as dailies, weeklies, and event. They have also improved end of match summary, allowing players to better understand how each match contributes to their Battle Pass. Next, we have quality of life updates, starting off with attachment swap improvements. As stated, when replacing an attachment with one from the ground, if the old attachment is an improvement for your other weapon, the old attachment will get automatically transferred. For example, if you have a Volt with a purple stabilizer, but you find a gold one, if you swap that out, instead of the purple one dropping to the ground, it will now swap over to your Hemlock. Next are the replicators, which have removed weapons from the crafting pool. However, high-level attachments will still be tailored towards a weapon category. The weapon will now be replaced by a battery, finally adding another heal to the replicator. Also, unless you've pinged an item you've crafted, teammates will not be able to pick up your items until 5 seconds have passed. This is to prevent your teammates from running by and taking your items. Airdrop beams have now been changed as well. Standard care packages will be light tan, Lifelines care packages will be blue, and replicators will be teal. Also, instead of the beams fading when you get near them, they will now disappear when opened. Some last miscellaneous updates to quality of life are, the Arc Star now shows an Arc Star model when one is thrown near you instead of a grenade. Added a new voiceover line when you are using a Phoenix kit. Added a new voiceover line when you drop a holo spray. You can now ping ammo in your inventory to request more from your squad. And made modifications to the ring to reduce the amount of unplayable space in the circles. Now heading into map rotations, after Season 7 drops, Olympus will be the only map you can play for the next 2 weeks. After those 2 weeks, the game will revert back to a normal rotation cycle between Olympus and World's Edge. With that being said, King's Canyon will be vaulted until further notice. For Ranked, the first split will be played on Olympus, and then it will rotate to World's Edge for the second split. Next, we'll be discussing new legend nerfs and buffs. Starting off with Bangalore, whose ult has now received a tiny buff. The time it now takes for the rockets to explode has been reduced from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Next, Caustic will be receiving some balance changes. Enemies will no longer be blurred while in gas, but the damage has increased from 4 to 10 ticks of damage to 6 to 12. Now we have Mirage, whose decoys now have 45 points of health. Something that's important to note is that even though his decoys have 45 points of health, it doesn't mean that you can use them as shields, as bullets will still go right through them. Moving on from Mirage, we now have Octane, whose healing ability has doubled from half a point of health to 1 full point of health. Next, we have Watson, whose perimeter security has now been increased from 10 to 15 points of damage. After that, we have Loba. Now, taking ammo no longer counts towards item slots. Second to last, we have Rampart. Her amped wall now takes 3 seconds to fully build up instead of 4 seconds, and Sheila takes 1.25 seconds to fully spin up compared to the previous 2 seconds. Lastly, we have Pathfinder. Pathfinder's been through quite some changes, so there's a bit to cover in these patch notes. For starters, Pathfinder no longer needs to be on the ground for the grappling hook to be considered finished. Pathfinder's cooldown for his tactical will never surpass 35 seconds. And the amount of distance you can travel before you hit maximum cooldown was roughly doubled. The devs also made some changes to Pathfinder's hitbox. As you can see here, they wanted to make him easier to hit. Moving on from the legend meta, let's now talk about the weapon meta for this season. So if you aren't already aware, the R99 has been dropped from the care package and has been replaced by the Prowler. The R99 stats will be reverted back to pre-season 6, with the R99's damage dropping from 12 to 11, and max ammo capacity back to 27. Next, we have the new full kitted weapons for this season, which are the Wingman, the Sentinel, the Havoc, the G7, and the Alternator. Moving into the other weapons this season, I'll start off with the weapons that received nerfs. These weapons include the Hemlock and the Triple Take. As you can see now, the Hemlock has a reduced headshot multiplier and increased recoil. And as you can see for the Triple Take, the fire rate has been reverted back to pre-season 6, which was 1.2 instead of 1.3. On the contrary, the Havoc, the L-Star, and the Sentinel have all received buffs. Starting off with the Havoc has received a new recoil pattern, which is a bit easier to control. Secondly, the L-Star has a new and easier recoil pattern, a faster venting time after letting go of the trigger, and will now reduce heat faster when not overheated. Finally, an energized Sentinel does 88 points of damage to not only shields but health. Lastly, for the weapon meta, the Select Fire Receiver will be removed from the loot pool, and there will be a new hop-up known as the Quick Draw Holster hop-up. This hop-up allows the RE45 and Wingman to become quicker to raise and lower, takes less time to ADS, and reduces hipfire spread when not actively moving. Second to last topic are the game meta changes, and the first thing we see here is the nerf to all Evo shields. As you can see, from level 3 to level 4, now there's a 250 damage increase, which I definitely think is fair considering how easy it was to get red Evo. We can also see that all ring damage after ring 1 has been reduced. And finally, the last thing that these patch notes cover are the bug fixes made to season 7. I'm not going to go over them because a lot of them are minor, but I will go ahead and put them on screen so that if you guys want to pause it and take a look at them for yourselves, you can. Well, anyways guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Be sure to let me know what you guys are hyped for next season in the comments down below. If you guys liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. And if you're a big fan of Apex just like I am, please consider hitting that subscribe button as there will be more content dropping. Also be sure to turn on notifications so that you get notified when I drop my next video. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.